Arsenal investigating a deal for Paris Saint-Germain's Kvaratskhelia for the summer. I just came off the stream with Don. Just spoke about, the aftermath of the final, the injuries, the Eze injury and such like solutions. And I didn't even know that this was floating around in the works. But an article from Miguel Delaney, I think he's of The Independent. Reliable source, not saying he's like an Ornstein or Fabrizio level, but I think he's trustworthy in terms of, the resources, the reports and stuff. And he's got some news that Arsenal are interested in Kvaratskhelia. I think I spoke about the need many times that we need to upgrade our attack, that we need to have a level of fear, a level of ruthlessness, a level of quality in the attack that when we go up against other teams, big teams, they have that level of fear, they have that level of, when we look up our defenders, we know that the level of quality matches in terms of the kind of players we have: Saliba, Gabriel, your Rice in midfield with the attackers, not just only Saka. And also, I said, once you are a team that wins the league, maybe multiple trophies, you should be a more attractive entity for, some of the best players to come to. And we should be targeting the best of the best. No more, good deal, no. Go for the best player in that position that you want to upgrade in for the starting lineup, and then worry about the rest later. But just getting a bit into the article, he says obviously Arsenal are looking at a deal. Said the PSG players camp will be open to the idea. Not knowing if PSG will be willing to do any type of deal right now, but it's widely, knowing that Arsenal want to sell and buy in the summer, which can give them some space and headroom. Apparently, Arsenal do have the funds, and obviously, if you do win the league, do get far in Champions League again, I think obviously the prize money and the money that we're earning should be a lot. And I think it should be interesting to see what Arsenal do. News about him, obviously, he moved to PSG only last January, I'm correct, obviously, where he obviously ended up winning everything: the league, the Champions League, the French Cup. Obviously, they lost in the Club World Cup final against Chelsea. Amazing player. Let's just call a spade a spade. Will be a massive upgrade to that left wing that we have. A player that can carry the ball, drive on both feet, go on the inside, go on the outside. Very technical dribbler. Can strike a ball for sure on both feet as well. Is very creative. I won't say he's like your blistering pace winger, like maybe I might want, in terms of that in behind, just straight pace. But I think in terms of his technical ability and the difference in terms of he can carry attack on his own. In terms of transition, I'm thinking Arsenal in those moments where you have a player like that can carry the ball, beat a man with real quality, can actually finish actions as well, what that does for other players. And also he's creative. I remember his relationship with Victor Osimhen before they both left Napoli was amazing when I first started to spark him up. 25 years old, same age as Saliba, so still very, very young. Still be getting him in those prime years, still before he's even reached that old school prime years. And I think that's the kind of player that Arsenal should be targeting. Very early days. I'm not saying Arsenal are going to be buying him. Very early days. Who knows what the price will be. Very early days if Arsenal even do go for him. But similar to the Zubimendi and the Eze, you start hearing news about these type of players. Gokares, news about these players very early in the season. Certain names, the Alvarez that we had the other day, that I will be covering. And then now Khvicha. It's encouraging because I've said all season, I think we need to upgrade in that 9 position, and we need to upgrade in that left wing position from a starting standpoint. I think you got to try and get best of the best quality. We don't really need that many players. We've got Ranieri's and we've got Dams, we've got Luis Kelly's, Marley Salmon's, players that you can see that can be coming up through. Luis Munoz is another player. He's quite young, but left winger that maybe can act as the fourth depth in a couple of years' time. But getting that starting level like Khvicha would be crazy. Now, why would you want to leave PSG? He's only been there for a year. It's the one question I have. Like, is there any breakdown in communications between him and Luis Enrique? Not like that stopped him. He played against Chelsea, scored a lovely goal against Chelsea, Champions League recently. Is it, just he wants a bit of a difference, and the French league isn't the most competitive league. It's a very good league, but competitive in terms of PSG probably will win the league in each year. And because he's won everything, like, do you want a different challenge? And in Champions League world, like, what else do you go for? And also, he might just have dreams. He might want to play for Arsenal. Might want to play for a different club, innit? Like, PSG was the first club that took him out of Napoli, but now he has other sites, and it will be very early. But also at the same time, there's there, and obviously I don't know if Georgia in the World Cup, but in the midst of all of these these things will be interesting. But Arsenal should be definitely trying to rattle the feathers, good bid in there. If his camp is given encouragement that he'll be willing to move, like, you know what I'm saying, see what PSG will be feeling and try and get that deal sorted. Because if he is on the market, other clubs will be there. Chelsea, maybe even Man City, United, like, clubs around Europe will be there. Barcelona's looking for a left winger. Like, so we've got to make sure that if we are trying to get him and he is potentially going to be available, that we are snapping him up early, getting the feelers in terms of wages and everything that would be required for the deal. But he is the type of player that I will verify 100%. 100%. So yeah, it's interesting that it's getting reported out now. As we saw last week from, is it Graham Bailey, the Alvarez news. I don't know if that's necessarily true that he would 100% want to come to us or he's going to leave. Obviously, there's the Berta link there. I think it's going to be an even bigger, the Berta link in terms of the Atletico move. I think it's going to be an even bigger summer for Berta because he's going to have to make a lot of sales. I think we bought well last year in terms of getting the depth, but that's not going to be sustainable, especially with a lot of players signing new deals, increased wages, certain other players that you want to buy. If you want to get a Khvicha, it's going to be high wages, high transfer fee. We need to kind of sell players, so he's going to have to make his money there. And he's also got to be able to make big deals for these type of big players in big situations. He has done it before for Atletico. He's got to do it for Arsenal. And in the decisive moment where we should have the gravity of being Premier League champions, maybe even a doubles in whatever trophy that we are able to get if we do, but mainly Premier League champions, then we should be able to draw a player like Khvicha or any other player, man. Once you have your starting level quality, left wing or striker, then you can start look to whether it's an academy or, young player you bring in to kind of bring that depth in and next in line. So yeah, man, just want to come and talk about that quickly. Very happy about that news. Let's see if it does materialize. Obviously, we've got more focused things to focus before the season ends, but this is what I want to see, because once we hit the summer, I want to see that type of player, the player that Arsenal bring it to the club. Khvicha. Maybe I will see you soon. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.